Hi, in this video this series of videos we're going to be working through a GCSE paper. Please do stop the video, have a go at each of the questions, then compare your solutions. Each of the videos is going to be about 20-30 minutes or so. It should give you about an hour's worth of fairly focused revision. If you're not sure about anything, always add a comment. I'll come back to you and I'll look forward to seeing you inside the video.
Hi, this is the first video in the series where we're looking at the paper 3, and it's the foundation tier calculator paper for Edexcel. So we're going to start at question number 1. Okay, which is a fairly straightforward question. The table shows the lengths of 5 rivers, and we've got 5 rivers there. And we start with the shortest river, asking us to write down the lengths of the rivers in order. So the first one is going to be the Don. And then we're going to get the Mersey, and then we're going to get the Trent, the Thames, and then the Severn. Okay, so that should give you 1 mark, and then you're off to 100% on the first question, or the first part of the question. Okay, so the next bit of it says the River Thames is more than 3 times as long as the River Don. So in order to do that, we've got to work out how long the River Don is if we multiply it by 3. So the Don is equal to 112, and that's going to be this one at the top here. So that's 112 kilometres. I'm going to multiply that then by 3, and that's going to give me 336. And if I compare that with the Thames, which is actually 346, so you can see that the Thames is actually longer. So Thames, and if I just write in there, is 346. That would be absolutely fine for that type of question. Okay, let's move on then to question number 2. Cups are sold in packs and boxes. There's 12 cups in a pack and 18 cups in a box, and write down an expression for in terms of P and B for the total number of cups Alison buys. So if 12 cups are in each pack, we would write that as 12p, and then if there are 18 cups in each box, there's going to be plus 18b, and that would be the amount of cups that Alison buys. Okay, hopefully that's okay for you. If you're not sure, let me know. I've got some other questions that might be helpful to you. Okay, here are 4 digits. Write down the smallest possible 2-digit number that can be made with 2 of the digits. Well, I would make that to be 15. And then it says write down a 3-digit number closest to 200 that can be made with 3 of the digits. I would write that down as 196, and that would be the answer to question number 3. Okay, let's move on then to question number 4. 4/5 of a number is 32, find the number. Well, if 4/5 of the number is 32, then 1/5 of the number is going to equal to 32 divided by 4, which is going to equal to 8. So if 1/5 of the number equals 8, then effectively 5/5, which is the whole number, is going to equal to 8 times 5, which is going to be 40. So the actual number would be 40. Okay, let's move on then to question number 5. In question number 5, we've got some ratio questions, and it says a quarter of the tiles are right. Write down the ratio of white tiles to grey tiles. So we've got white to grey. And what we're saying is a quarter of the tiles are white, therefore 3/4 of them are grey. And the ratio of that then is for every 1 white tile, you're going to get 3 grey tiles. And that would be the answer to part A. Okay, let's move on then to part B. And it says there's a total of 56 tiles, work out the number of grey tiles. Okay, well, if we go back to our original format or original ratio, we've got 1 to 3. Well, at that point there's actually 4 tiles, so according to the information we've got, that's not true. There's 56. So what we do is we multiply that by 14. Now if we multiply it, make it 14 times bigger, we have to make the grey tiles 14 times bigger, which is going to give us 42, and the white tiles are going to be 14 times bigger. That would be 14. So the number of grey tiles is going to be 42, and that would be the answer to that particular question. Okay, hopefully that's okay for you. Let's move on then to question number 6. Here's a list of numbers, and Bridget says to work out the median you find the middle number. So the median of these numbers is 17. Is she correct? Well, I'm afraid no, she's not correct, as the numbers, in order to work out the median, need to be put in order. Need to be put in order. Apologies for my dreadful writing. Okay, but hopefully that's okay for you. Then it says part B, work out the range of numbers on the list. Well, the range is really the largest, which in this case is 22. Take away the smallest, which in this particular case is going to be 12. So the range is 22 minus 12, which is going to equal to 10, and that would be the answer to part B. And then it says finally, part C, work out the mean of the numbers on the list. Okay, well, the mean is where you add them all up and then you divide by the number of numbers. So I would work that as, I just generally remember it as total divided by number. Okay, and the total is going to be all of these numbers added up together. So 12 plus 15 plus 14 plus 17 plus 22 plus 19 plus 13. And it is a calculator paper, so if you put that in your calculator, you're going to get 12 add 15 add 14 add 17 add 22 add 19 add 13. All divided, the number of numbers is actually 7 of them, and when I put that in my calculator I'm going to get a mean of 16, and that would be the answer to part C of question number 6. Okay, I'm going to aim for this video to be about 20 minutes. We're roughly about halfway through or so, so let's have a look at something called counting strategies. Okay, Preeti's going to have a meal. You can choose one starter and one main course. Well, write down all the possible combinations. The easiest way to do this is to make sure as we're working through that you're just fairly methodical. So let's start with salad. Well, if she has salad, she can have it with pasta, she can have salad with rice, and she can have salad with burger. Okay, so those are her choices. If as a starter then she has fish, well, again she can have it with pasta, she could have fish with rice, and she could have fish with burger. I do suggest you write these out longhand rather than these little quotation marks that I tend to use. It's only really for the purposes of the video. And then finally, melon as a starter. Well, again, pasta, melon with rice, and melon with burger, and that would give you full marks for that. And also it's a more methodical approach to doing these sorts of things. Okay, hopefully that's all right for 2 marks. Let's move on then to question number 8. Joanne wants to buy a dishwasher. The dishwasher costs that much. She's going to pay a deposit of £36. So if she's going to pay a deposit of £36, what has she got left to pay? Well, £372 take away 16 means that she's got £336 left to pay on her dishwasher. Okay, she's going to pay the rest of that £336 in 4 equal monthly payments. Now, I do appreciate that you would do this on a calculator, but I sometimes think it's really useful for the sake of the 2 marks to actually write everything down. Method marks are going to be very important, and you will get £84 as your final answer on that particular question. Okay, let's move on then to question number 9. So Davos is a cleaner. Table shows information about time it'll take to clean each of the 4 rooms in a house. He wants to try to finish by 4 o'clock and is going to start at 9 o'clock. Well, that's actually 9 until 4 o'clock is going to be 7 hours. Okay, that's 7 hours worth of cleaning. So let's have a look and see. And the question really is he going to finish by 4 o'clock? Well, let's have a look at the various elements. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to write them out. So apologies if I'm sort of up and down on the screen, but hopefully it'll give you some idea of how I would personally work this sort of question out. So I've got a kitchen. Okay, and I'm going to split them up into hours and minutes. Okay, and the kitchen's going to take me fairly straightforward 2 hours, and you'd have to refer back to the actual grid, so maybe you want to take a screenshot or print this particular question off, or stop the video, have a go at this question, and then compare your solution. Okay, so the next one is the sitting room. And that's going to be 1 hour and in this case 40 minutes. Okay, then we've got the bedroom. Okay, and we're told that's going to take 1 hour and 30 minutes. We've also got the bathroom. Okay, and that's going to take 45 minutes. And then we've got the break that he has, because it mentions in the text that he actually has a break for 1 hour and 15 minutes. And that's actually this one here, which is 75 minutes, which is exactly the same as 1 hour and 15 minutes. Okay, so what I've done then is I've written everything out in a nice little grid like that, which means I can add everything up, and I've got 5 hours and in this particular case 130 minutes. Well, 130 minutes is the same as saying 2 hours, which is 120 minutes, and 10 minutes. Okay, so therefore in total Davos is going to work for 7 hours and 10 minutes. Okay, now you might remember right at the very beginning that it said that he wanted to finish by 4 o'clock, which was actually 7 hours. Well, he's going to work 10 minutes over, so the answer is no. Davos will finish at 4:10 p.m. So there's only going to be 10 minutes in it, but that would answer the question and get you the full 3 marks for that sort of question. Okay, so again, a more methodical approach would be very helpful. Okay, let's move on to this one then. So ABC is a straight line. The length AB is 5 times the length of BC. So if we said that the length AB was 1, I beg your pardon, if the length BC was 1, then the length AB would be 5 times bigger, which is going to be 5. So what we're basically saying is that there are 6 units between A and C, or A and C has been chopped up into 6 different pieces. So therefore we can say that AC in total, which we know to be 90, if we divide that by 6, then that means that each piece is going to be 15 units or 15 centimeters. Okay, so therefore the length AB is going to equal to 15 multiplied by 5 pieces, which is therefore going to be 75. So the length AB is going to be 75 centimeters, and that would be the answer for 3 marks on that question. Okay, let's move on then to question number 11. Work out the value of t when v equals 2. Alright, well again, just be very careful with BIDMAS, because what we're going to do is the multiplication first. So 4 times 2 is equal to 8. And then we're going to add 3 to it. That's going to give us 11, so t would equal 11. And then it says make v the subject of the formula. So again, you need to be quite methodical in the way that we do these things. So we're going to start with t equals 4v plus 3. I'm going to take that 3 away from both sides, and I'm going to get t minus 3 equals 4v. And then I'm going to divide through by 4. Okay, and the way I'm going to write that is t minus 3 divided by 4 equals v, and that's the answer to the question. Okay, so just as an aside here, this would not be correct. Okay, so if you wrote t minus 3 divided by 4, that would not be correct. Okay, so just be very careful about how you write these things. Now the reason it wouldn't be correct is because of BIDMAS. That would be 3 divided by 4, and then take that answer away from t. Okay, let's move on then to question number 12, and this is a diagram shows a cube of side length that. The volume of any solid made with 6 of these cubes is 48. Is she correct? Okay, well actually yes she is, because if we work out the volume of 1 cube, Well, that's going to equal area multiplied by depth. Well, the area is going to be 2 times 2, and then the depth is 2, which is going to be 8 centimeters cubed. Okay, and therefore the volume of 6 of these cubes is simply going to be equal to 8 multiplied by 6, which is 48 centimeters cubed. Therefore, Vera is correct, and that's absolutely fine for that question. Okay, the next one is a little bit more problematic. It says draw a cuboid that can be made with 6 of these cubes and then write the dimensions of the cuboid on your diagram. Okay, so it depends on your kind of sketching with these sorts of things. I would tend to probably draw something like this. It's not very cube-like, but it's probably hopefully okay for the video. So you've got 6 of these cubes and you've got something like that. Okay, so apologies, it's not the best diagram in the world, but it should give you some idea. So what we're basically looking at with the dimensions is that this would be 6 centimeters in width along here, and then I've got 4 centimeters in height along here, and I've got 2 centimeters in depth along here. Okay, so that would be fine for 1 mark for that particular question. And then it says work out the surface area of your cuboid. So what I'm going to do is I look at firstly the front surface looking towards me. Okay, so that's going to be 6 times 4. Now don't forget, I've got it looking towards me, which is this very kind of front surface, but I've also got exactly the same at the back there, so I'm going to therefore multiply that by 2, and that's going to give me 48. And then I'm going to look at the surface area at the side here, which is going to be 4 multiplied by 2, but don't forget I've also got the other side, so I'm going to multiply that by 2, and that's going to give me 16. And then finally I've got the top and bottom, which is going to be 6 times 2, which is the surface area of, say, the bottom, and then I'm going to multiply that by 2 because I need the top as well, and that's going to be 24. If I add up all of that, I get 88, so that's going to be 88 centimeters squared for the surface area of that particular unit. Okay, hopefully that's okay for you. Let's move on then to question number 13. And question number 13 is one of those that you need to really just sketch out, I think. It says the size of the largest angle in a triangle is 4 times the size of the smallest angle. The other angle is 27 degrees less than the largest angle. Okay, so it doesn't really matter, you know, how good your diagram is. What we're basically saying is if this is x, then this must be, let's say, 4x, and then this final angle over here is going to be 4x minus 27. Now what I know is that all the angles in a triangle add up to 180 degrees. So what I can say is that 180 equals x, which is the first small angle, plus 4x, which is the one that's 4 times its size, plus 4x minus 27, and that's going to give me then 9x minus 27 equals 180. And then we're back to a little bit of algebra. You need to add 27 to both sides. I'm going to get 207 equals 9x. Divide through by 9 and I get x equals 23. Okay, so therefore the smallest angle is going to be 23 degrees. 4 times 23 degrees, which is the largest angle, is going to be 92. And then the remaining angle is going to be 27 degrees less, which is going to be 65. And that would be the answer to question number 14. Beg your pardon, question number 13. Okay, so the final question on this worksheet is going to be question number 14, which is Andy goes on holiday to Canada. His flights cost a total of that, and then he pays in Canadian dollars. Okay, so we've got to work out the total cost of the flights, the hotel room and the Wi-Fi, giving our answer, and importantly here, in pounds. So what I'm going to do is I'm okay with the cost of the flights is $1,500, and then I've got to look at the actual hotel room itself, which is going to be $196 per night. Well, if it's per night and I'm staying for 14 nights, that's going to be a total dollar of $2,744. And similarly with the Wi-Fi, I've got 12 days worth of Wi-Fi at $5 a day, and that's going to be $60. Okay, so let's have a look now at the conversion rate. So if I just move this up a little bit, let's have a look firstly at the hotel. Okay, so in the hotel I've got an exchange rate of $1.90 to £1. Okay, however, the actual cost of the hotel room, as I mentioned right at the very top there, is $2,744. So what I would do is, if I divide that by 1.9, it's going to give me then the number of pounds, which is 1444.21. So it's £1,444 for the hotel room. Let's do a similar exercise then with the Wi-Fi. Okay, and again I've got dollars is 190 to pounds, and that's to £1. Okay, well the total dollar cost is going to be right at the top of the screen there, which is going to be $60. Okay, and if I divide that by 190, it tells me how many pounds it's going to cost me, which is 31.58. Okay, so now I've got my three component parts to be able to work out the total cost in pounds, which is going to be the hotel, the Wi-Fi, and then not forgetting the original $1,500 for the flights. So if I add all of that together, I've got flights, and that's going to be $1,500. I've got hotel, which is going to be 1444.21, and then I've got Wi-Fi, which is going to be 31.58. Now what you'll notice is that I've actually put a decimal point in there. I've also added 2 zeros on the flights there, just to keep everything nice and tidy together. I am aware very much that this is a calculator paper, but you know, it'll give you some idea of how you would do this if you were asked to add these numbers together. Okay, so therefore the total cost for the whole holiday is going to be £2,975.79. Okay, and that would be part A, and that's 5 marks, so it's well worthwhile having that kind of methodical way of doing things. Okay, and then finally it says, if there were fewer dollars to the pound, what effect would this have? Okay, well it would actually cost more. So if I just put it would cost more, the holiday would cost more, as Andy can buy less dollars for each pound. Okay, and that would be the answer to part B, which is that additional 1 mark. So it's a 6 mark question on that final one. I hope the video has been helpful to you. Please do let me know in the comments. I'll always point you in the direction of another playlist if you're not sure about anything, and I look forward to seeing you inside the next video.